I am Jonathan Chipetta, and my position is research assistant.
As part of my co-op in computer programming and analysis, I joined CDOT.
CDOT is a research arm of Seneca that investigates open source technologies, full stop.
It provides students a possibility to start a career working with industry partners and make a name for themselves, hopefully.
Well, for students, I think it's incredible. I mean, right out of my program, I had a huge amount of experience thanks to CDOT. The teams that here at CDOT are sort of working with industry partners. So, I mean, that sort of exposure is invaluable to a student. And the open source community as a whole benefits because it's taking, young people like myself, introducing them to open source and sort of keeping the community alive.
I mean, I'm working at Mozilla now, and that's definitely thanks to my work at CDOT, but I just think in general, working in open source I find very rewarding. I've done both. I worked for a company where they own the code, and I work for open source. But I find that a lot of open source technologies, they're either tools for developers, so I would care about that, or they're usually tools to just make lives easier. So it's easier to form an emotional attachment and to care about what you're doing.
I think open source is probably one of the most important pieces of software for modern technology. It runs a whole series of servers out there, web connections, DNS connections, remote terminal connections. It allows people to use and experiment with their own personal hardware for free.
I want to continue being a part of the open source community. I mean, most people say there's no money in open source development, but I'd say that they're wrong.
And CDOT, I mean, they got their hands on a bunch of projects, so whichever one you end up working on, I find, I was excited to work on any project they were going to put me on, because I knew whatever I'd be doing would be something positive and contributing to the kind of greater whole.